Let's do a logo battle. I'm going to show you two logos and we're going to talk about what I like or maybe don't like, and we're going to pick a winner. All right. Today's theme is California Adventure versus Disneyland. So let's see. Here we go. So, first logo up is Spidey's Web Slinger. Now, I don't know if you've ridden this ride. I have a few times. It's fun. Not my favorite, but I do like the logo graphic, and not only the web slinger stuff, but also the old Stark Industries stuff that make it look like it's an old factory. But in this case, we're talking about Spidey's web logo. So what do I like? I really dig the graphic spider, way it's fit into the hexagon, and we have the geometric lines that kind of create the shape of the spider. I also really like the W, E, and B. And one of the things that I've noticed that I really like a lot is how they all share components. So the the lines, the little notch, they're all repeated. And the little bar in the middle that forms the middle of the W and the middle of the E and the B, they're all about the same size and the same shape. So I like how modular it is. And so it's really cool to me when you find those kinds of similarities in letters or shapes and repeat them. So I think a lot of that is working in this logo. All right. Now let's see how this one measures up against Disneyland. And here we go. Madame Leota's signage for the Madame Leota shop next to the Haunted Mansion. Now, frankly, I think the position of this shop is atrocious. I can't stand that they put this big shed in between what used to be Splash Mountain and the Haunted Mansion. It feels like it just sticks out and it's a really obvious cash grab. So, aside from that, let's talk about the logo. All right, there's something interesting going on with the typography. It has that old calligraphy style, which feels like, kind of Victorian is the word I was looking for. And there's some interesting links and linkages and ligatures that are going on where the lettering connects and the shapes, let's say of the L, for example, swirls around and becomes kind of like a candle at the top of that H on the somewhere. There's some other special things going on with um, the flourishes on the top of the D and so on and the S. And so I see that. And then, of course, you've got the crystal ball in the background and kind of the mystical feeling to it. So, yeah, it's working. Um, Now, I think in terms of typography, it's it's interesting, but it's not a home run as far as I'm concerned. So, if I'm going to put these two up against each other, which one do I think is the winner? For me, it's Spidey and the Web Brigade. I like this graphic logo. It's simplified down to its essence, and I think that's good, and it fits the vibe of what they're trying to create with this ride. This one I think is a little overdone. I also dislike the color. I don't like the color of this logo. I don't feel like it fits. And the way they light it up with the two shining lights at night, um, kind of works. But the one thing it's missing to me is dimension. I think this would work awesome as a logo and a sign if it actually had more three-dimensionality to it. If the somewhere beyond was maybe on a different level, and then the crystal ball was also on another level, so there was some layering and some depth into this signage. Instead, this just looks like a printed vinyl sign, which sure, that's fine. Also, I just don't like gradients. I'd almost rather see like lines. I mean, you see a little bit of lines in the shading behind the somewhere, but I almost like horizontal lines or a halftone or something. Just not a big fan of gradients in that sort of thing. So Web Slinger wins as far as I'm concerned. All right, so that's my little logo critique today. See what you think.